Hi. So, I wanted to give you a couple of points about what FDNs actually do. You already know that we deal with the 5 pillars of health, right? Diet, rest, exercise, stress relief, and supplementation. So, I wanted to do kind of a deep dive into each one of those things so you understand where we are coming from and why it might be good to work with an FDN if these things are an issue for you. Let's start with diet today, okay? Now, FDN is functional diagnostic nutritionist, right? Nutrition is huge for us. We know that food impacts the body, right? Everything that crosses your lips has some sort of chemical impact on the body. When you digest food, there are actually 3 phases of digestion, and the most important phase of digestion is called the cephalic phase of digestion. That just means digestion starts in your brain, it starts in your head. When you're looking at food, when you're touching food, when you're preparing food and smelling food, your body starts to secrete enzymes that allow you to digest that food once it passes through your lips. Amylase in the mouth, right? Protease in the stomach to digest protein, and then lipase in the small intestine to digest your fats. So food is broken down in different places and different times, right? And food should be food. That is what I am passionate about. With my clients, I like to start them with the autoimmune paleo protocol. What does that mean? Now, you guys are probably familiar with paleo by now, unless you are living under a rock. But paleo just means we're eating, in theory, what our cavemen ancestors ate, right? If you could hunt it or kill it, if you could gather it or pick it, then you should be able to eat it. And that has served a lot of people well, really, because it cuts down on some of the top allergens that we have, right? Wheat, gluten, dairy, processed foods, sugars, alcohol, coffee. These things can be pretty inflammatory to the body, even though they're really common and we all indulge in them all the time. Also, look around and ask yourself, what is all of this indulgence getting us? When you're out at the grocery store, when you're out, it's fair time in Kern County right now. Like I'm looking around and looking at what people are eating and looking at what their bodies look like, not in a judgmental way, just kind of in a anthropological way, just like thinking, wow, this is where, all of these convenience foods have gotten us. People they're unhealthy. They look unhealthy. And I know they're unhealthy because I see it, right? The type of women in my practice are generally relatively fit already. They're high achieving. They already know that they need to work out. Sometimes they work out a little too much. They already know that they need to watch their food. Sometimes they diet a little too much. So my job is to bring them back to a healthy homeostasis where, they're looking at everything instead of just one thing, not just diet and not just exercise, but everything. However, starting with diet, like I said, is really important. I've explained what the paleo protocol is. Autoimmune paleo protocol goes one step farther. So we're removing some of the top allergens in the diet that can really lead to inflammation in the body and perpetuate your chronic health concerns. So we're removing things like eggs. People always ask me, why can't I have eggs? Well, egg whites are really allergenic for a lot of people. They put egg whites in vaccines. So a lot of children are, inoculated with egg whites, that egg white protein at a really young age, which can create an egg allergy later on. Egg whites are just hard for the body to digest. If you want to not give up eggs completely, please eat the egg yolk and not the egg white. The egg yolk has all of the essential fatty acids, vitamin A, D, E, and K. It has choline, which is great for the liver. A lot of really great substances in the egg yolk. Egg whites, not as much. Very hard to digest. We also take out nightshades, things like tomatoes, potatoes, peppers, eggplant. Those things are also going to cause an immune response in the body. The antigenic particles can get through a leaky gut or epithelial cells that are somewhat separated and really start to cause havoc in the bloodstream and therefore the body. So we remove nightshades. A lot of people with rheumatoid arthritis or just joint pain in general will also tell me that potatoes and tomatoes will really make their fingers stiff and hurt pretty badly, the bottoms of their feet as well. When you get up in the morning and you're having a hard time walking and you're thinking, what did I do? I didn't exercise that hard yesterday. If you ate some gluten, or if you ate a couple of potatoes and tomatoes, or all of that together, then that's probably the likely culprit as to why your feet are hurting in the morning. We also remove dairy, and paleo does remove dairy. Primal eating does not necessarily remove dairy, but we remove dairy in the autoimmune paleo protocol. That milk protein, casein, is kind of a pretender. So if you have thyroid disease, casein can look like thyroid hormone. So casein can attach to thyroid receptors on every cell of the body, effectively blocking that thyroid hormone and making it hard for thyroid to do its job. We'll be talking about thyroid a lot in these upcoming videos. It's something that is a problem for a lot of people. Let's see, we remove soy for sure. Now, women were told to eat soy for a long time, and most of us are on the anti-soy bandwagon now, knowing how hard it is for the body to process all of that excess estrogen. Excess estrogen will lead to PMS, can lead to estrogen-dominant cancers, uterine cancer, ovarian cancer, breast cancer. So do be careful with your soy products. Fermented soy products like miso are generally fine in small amounts, but don't be eating soy burgers and soy tacos and soy milk all the time. You don't want that excess estrogen in the body. So that's what the autoimmune paleo protocol is in a nutshell, removing all of those top allergens, okay? Tree nuts are part of that as well, and sometimes shellfish. So what do you eat on the autoimmune paleo protocol? A lot of meat. You eat a lot of meat. And, we'll go through the steroid hormone cascade eventually, but meat is so important because it contains B vitamins and dietary fats. You can't get those through plants. And those are essential to start that steroid hormone cascade. To create estrogen, to create testosterone, or even DHEA or pregnenolone, you need to make sure you're eating enough animal fats. Interestingly enough, about animal fats is true animal fats. Good clean animal fat has your essential branched chain amino acids: leucine, isoleucine, and valine. Now, leucine is necessary for muscle protein synthesis. If you're a woman and you're getting older and you don't want to lose your muscle and get flabby, make sure you're eating your animal protein with almost every single meal. 30 grams of animal protein equates to 2.5 grams of leucine, which is the branched chain amino acids that's most necessary for you to be building muscle. That's what muscle protein synthesis is, creation of new muscle, and then the keeping of any old muscle you have. And women's muscle does start to deteriorate after the age of 30. So that's why we want you, lifting weights. It doesn't have to be super heavy weights, but making sure that you're keeping your bone density and your muscles strong. And we want you eating animal protein, okay? So you can supplement with leucine as well, but I definitely prefer, it's way tastier and way easier to get animal protein to create that steroid hormone cascade. And man, I love that steroid hormone cascade, and we definitely will be talking about it more, but this is our diet video. So make sure that you are eating 30 grams of protein per meal. That's a lot for women. When I run this thing called a 6-week reset. Sometimes it's a 28-day reset. Sometimes it's a 6-week reset with my ladies. I'm going to decline my sister's call. I'll call you back. The ladies are always shocked the first week. They're like, I'm eating so much food. And yes, you are, because most women are chronically underfed. 1,200 calories a day is essentially starvation. And if you look at any magazine, any popular diet plan, you're going to be eating somewhere around 1,200 calories a day. That is literally starvation. You can look at the Minnesota starvation experiment from the 1940s run by Ansel Keys, and he brought a group of really healthy men down to about 1,200 calories a day, and they started to exhibit crazy symptoms like hoarding food, like looking at pictures of food all the time, like talking about food with their friends. Is this something that we do all the time, ladies? We are always looking at, Cooking Light magazine, Real Simple magazine. We're looking online for recipes and drooling over this food because we're underfed. We're not eating enough calories, and so food becomes almost an addiction for us. They call it food porn for a reason, right? Excuse me. So make sure you're eating enough calories. I'm not a proponent of counting calories necessarily, but if you're trying to lose weight, you're going to have to eat a little bit less, okay? That part is not rocket science. To do that, you need to make sure that you're eating enough protein. Protein does have 9 calories per gram, and it gets digested in your stomach. And so you want more protein to digest a little bit slower so that you stay fuller longer, right? But also to break down into those amino acids to help rebuild your body and rebuild your muscles, okay? So make sure you're getting 30 grams of protein with each meal. That's breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Some of my favorite things to eat for breakfast. I love chicken apple sausage. I love it from Trader Joe's. They have it at Walmart. They have it at Costco, the Idell's brand, the Trader Joe's brand. You know, Sam's Club has their own brand, I think. You can get 11 or 12 grams of protein in one sausage, and it's not so much that it fills you up and makes you feel gross, right? So get that protein, and then make sure you're getting your leafy greens in as well. Yes, even for breakfast, I like to saute kale in bacon grease. That is delicious, and add a little bit of salt. That's a great breakfast with your chicken apple sausage or with your bacon, right? And then for lunch, we always do a big salad for lunch. I always tell my clients, lunch is not sexy, okay? We're all busy during the day. Lunch is to get you through to dinner. Make sure you have your 30 grams of protein on your salad, plenty of vegetables. We do a homemade dressing in my practice. Side note, do not be consuming seed oils, canola oil, sunflower seed oil, safflower seed oil. That stuff is poison, okay? And I'm dramatic sometimes, but it's not good for your body. It contains polyunsaturated fats, which will break down into trans fats in your body, which will promote an inflammatory response. I see this all the time when we cut down on seed oils with my ladies. You start to see easier periods. Why? Because polyunsaturated fats promote prostaglandins in the body. Prostaglandins tighten muscle. Your uterus is a large muscle, and so you'll cramp more if you eat more seed oils. Your periods will be more difficult if you're constantly eating corn oil, canola oil, and sunflower seed oil. So switch to ghee, my favorite. Olive oil, fine, just don't cook with it in high temperatures. Coconut oil, totally great. Kerrygold butter, great. Stick with saturated fats. Those are better for the body. If it's solid at room temperature, it's better for your body. It's not going to change into a frankenfat or this trans fat that's causing inflammation in the body. Dinner, I've got plenty of recipes on my website. You can go to reformmetabolics.com. I've got a whole week's worth of eating plan for you, breakfast, lunch, and dinner for free, with recipes, with meal plans, with shopping lists. It's really easy to do once you have a plan. So that's the other thing I tell my ladies. You've got to plan. Diet is very important, and you must plan or you will fail. You will every time. My ladies that choose to stick it out and commit to their diet, not just want it, but actually commit to their diet, are the ones that see progress the fastest. And I'm not talking about just weight loss. I'm talking about reduction of symptoms of some really kind of shitty diseases, right? Hashimoto's, celiac, Crohn's, just difficult things that people are dealing with every day. If you can commit to sticking to the plan, right, which essentially, like I said, is the autoimmune paleo protocol, then you will start to see results fast, you guys, and it's exciting. I usually ask my clients to work with me for a minimum of 3 months, the reason being, look how long it took you to get here. Look at how many years, how many decades it's taken for you to feel this horrible. And now, we need at least 3 months for you to start feeling better. Most of my clients will start feeling better in a month, 4 weeks. 4 weeks, that's crazy. And by 3 months, I usually try to have them graduate my program. So like I said, start with diet. Here's your bare minimum rules. Try to eat the autoimmune paleo protocol diet. There are great resources out there. Dr. Sarah Ballantyne has an excellent book. Mickey Trescott has a great book on autoimmune paleo. There's a wonderful website called Meatified that you can get a ton of autoimmune paleo protocol recipes on, or come see me. I can give you recipes as well. That's something I love to do. I meet with my clients in office here in Bakersfield, or face-to-face online. We can do Skype or FaceTime. I do have clients from all over the United States and a few international clients, which is fun. So that's much easier to do online. But get a hold of me if diet's something that has stymied you for a very long time, because I'm pretty good at what I do. We're seeing results. And like I said, all I can do is give information, just assimilate what I've learned and pass it along. But then it's up to, my clients to do the work, and they do a really good job. So I'd love to have you on board. If you're interested, you can get a hold of me at reformedmetabolics@gmail.com, or you can just go to my website, reformmetabolics.com. Thanks for watching. We'll be talking more about the dress protocol in later videos.